past Elder Mike Macharia, whom I think you had a chance to talk with. I want to take this opportunity to also thank the AMO Council for extending the invitation to me to come and share with you this morning. So what I do, by training, I'm in the finance field. I did finance and ACCA, and I've practiced audit for a number of years, about 16 now, starting off from Deloitte to other firms, to the industry, and then I ventured into private audit practice 2013. So that should be around 12, running to 13 years. What I do is that I help businesses to transform, businesses to scale in a sustainable way, and also help founder-led businesses in terms of creating structure, in terms of matchmaking with potential investors, so that they can be able to scale and grow in a sustainable manner. So this morning, as we shared with Elder Duncan, we are going to talk about business, investments, and as a career path. We talk about career development and growth, but also how we can also leverage our experience, leverage our know-how or knowledge, and run businesses from side hustles or side businesses, and formalize them, make them the main hustle, and grow from strength to strength. So what I'm going to share with you is a brief analogy of history. They say that if you want to understand the future, where should you study? You want to understand the future, where should you study? Where should you study? Where? The past. You study the past to learn about the past and to predict the future. Although the past is not always going to guarantee you what the future will be or look like. But nonetheless, it's good for us to understand where we have come from, so that we know what we call it trends, what the trend has been, what the trend is today, and what we guess. It's an informed guesswork about what the future can be. That is the whole thing about business planning and business analysis. So long time ago, during the time of Christ, to around 1750, we were in an age called what? The agrarian revolution, or the agrarian age. And what used to happen here? Before 1750, wealth was equated to what? Land. Land was equal to wealth. If you had land, you could plant, you could harvest, you could keep cattle, you could rear chicken, have milk, and if you had large tracts of land, you could have workers or slaves or people stay in your land and till the land for you. When you get the produce, you just give them a small portion for them to survive. That's where we get the name landlord. So land was equal to wealth. That's why all the wars in the past were about what resource? Conquer, acquire. Alexander the Great. All the wars were about fight, conquer, take over your people. You become our slaves, you work for us, we rule over you, or we take over your land, we put you become a province. Look at even how the scramble for Africa. It was about the resources that were in the land. And so something something happened around 1750 to 1760. At the end of the agrarian revolution, between around 1760 to 1840, we had the first industrial revolution. What happened is that there were two things which were discovered. Number one was the steam engine. Steam engine is the one that drives what? The train. The train and the factories, the initial factories. So that is what we call the first industrial revolution or mechanical revolution. It opened up something called factories, that the people who had the land and had made a produce, someone came and overtook them, kidogo tu, because he had a factory. By having a factory, he could take all that produce and produce something of an extra value beyond the basic raw material. Now, this mechanical revolution created factories. When the factories were created, now there was a new need. Who was going to run those factories? The factories needed what? Labor. But now not just the manual labor of Shambani of tilling the land. Labor of someone who can switch on the machine and switch it off. Repair the machine, ensure the assembly line is working, and another person who is not technical to ensure all these factory workers are obeying the rules and regulations. That is where we have the issue of corporate ladder, specialization, human resource, finance, sales and marketing, because we need to sell the products that we are producing, distribution, warehousing, engineering department, manufacturing department. So 1760 to around 1840, mechanical revolution opens us up to formal career paths. And so for you to fit into this first industrial revolution that has formal career paths, you needed to have skills, technical expertise. That's why you needed formal education that will make you a subject matter expert. So that you are good in finance, go to accounting. You know how to sell, sales and marketing. You are in engineering, go to the machine and repair and fix the machine. That is 1760 to around 1840. How many years are those? 1760 to 1840. 1760 to 1800 is how many years? How many? 40. 1800 to 1840 is how many years? So in total it's around 80 years, this first industrial revolution. Now, come to the second industrial revolution, around 1870 to around 1914, at the beginning of the First World War. 1870 marked the dates to 1914. The second industrial revolution, or electrification revolution. The main discovery here was electricity, power. What did the electricity do? It helped the factories that were running on which kind of engine? Steam. To run on electricity. What does electricity do? It increases what? Efficiencies. This is where mass production was born. Now, the first factories were producing well, but now with electricity, the production scaled and increased. Now, with the increase in mass production, we get goods and services become more expensive or less expensive? Less expensive. Goods that were once reserved for the very rich in society now become affordable. A factory that was producing 10,000 units in a month is now producing 1 million. The market that was enough is now too small. So what happens to trade? It increases what? Global trade. So that is the second industrial revolution. Electrification, mass production in manufacturing, lower cost of goods, the goods become cheaper. Remember, all these people have moved from the rural areas, they have come to the cities, they are now working in the cities. What happens? There is rural to urban migration. The cities are growing, they are developing. Okay? Are we following? Are we following? Yes. So, that is the second industrial revolution. 1870 to 1914, how many years are those? How many years? 44. The first revolution was how many years? Do you remember? 80. Second revolution, how many years? 44. Let's go to the third revolution, around 1970 to around 2000. This is the digitalization revolution. The key thing here is the discovery of the computer, microchips, and silicon. And computers are invented, programming as a language is invented, there is adoption of IT and personal computers. You remember, this is the time around when the likes of Microsoft, IBM are coming into being. So for the first time, we see the first factories were on steam engines, second factories were electrified. Now on the third industrial revolution, the factories for the first time are being done what? Automated. Automation is coming into the picture. With automation, now for the first time there is an interaction between machine and human being. And so we move during that period, that season is about 30 years. We come to the fourth industrial revolution from around the year 2000 up to around 2020. The fourth industrial revolution, which is called the intelligence revolution. The intelligence revolution is what ushers in the likes of artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things, big data, cloud computing, smart factories, digital and physical integration. And for the first time now, we used to have big companies. In this fourth industrial revolution, we are getting the concept of partnership, where the big companies, you know, the Apple is telling you, if you have a good product, you can put it in our app store. We can give you a share of the revenue. If you have a good program, you can put it on Netflix. We can share with you revenue. Okay? So, it is about now partnership because of the kind of technologies that we are running on. Now, finally, from around 2022, going to the future, we are having the fifth industrial revolution. The fifth industrial revolution, where we're talking about a human-centered revolution. This is where we are looking at machines not only doing manual labor. You know, all the industrial revolutions we have been looking at machines doing manual labor. Now, on the fifth industrial revolution, we are seeing machines being also tasked with some level of cognitive or creative work. Those of you who are in AI, you already know this. I think, Elder, you alluded to that. That the power of the machine is now not just to process what you can do with your hands or legs, but even what ideally the human brain is supposed to think or perceive or ideate, bring out an idea. That you can now go to a machine and tell it some instruction and tell it, I am thinking of this and this and this. What do you think? Can you please prepare for me something like this and this and this? Which is ideally a human feature. Because human beings, we are the ones who are supposed to think, to birth ideas, to think about solutions, to innovate about solutions to existing problems. But now we are getting into a phase where the machine is contributing towards problem solving, innovation, and ideation. So I want to take you back to these ages. We saw that the first industrial age took 80 years. What 8 years means is that those are 8 decades. 8 decades means the people who lived in actively, as adults or young people growing up between 1760 to 1840, they had 80 years before a serious tectonic shift in things. In 8 years, nothing much changed. They had 80 years before a major disruption. The second industrial revolution covered 44 years. Is 8 years enough for someone to do a career of life? Is it? Second industrial revolution took 44 years. Is that enough for a graduate to get into the market and finish work and retire? 44 years. So, the first and the second industrial revolutions may not have had so much impact on the people in their careers, in the businesses of their time, in their time, because the changes were slow and gradual. Third industrial revolution, around 1970 to 2000, that's about 30 years. So it's now becoming almost half the time. Because the guys who started in 1970, before the computers, by 2000, the internet was already there. They started without the internet. By 2000, we were talking about millennium bug. But what about the fourth industrial revolution? It is now almost 20 years. It lasted only about 20 years. Meaning that now it's almost a quarter of the time that the first industrial revolution lasted. I just want you to appreciate the speed of change in the way the world operates, businesses operate, human interactions happen. That the fourth industrial revolution lasted 20 years, but the first lasted 80. Now we are talking about going into the fifth industrial revolution. Is it going to take 20 years or more than 20 years or less than 20 years? Again, the future, nobody knows. We are guessing. But if the trends are things that we rely on, if data is something that we rely on, definitely it will be less than 20 years. Meaning that what is relevant today might not be relevant 15 years to come, or 12, or 10. So I wanted us to have that background as we start so that you understand. Long gone are the days that I'll come and tell you, if you want to get into a business, this is how you do it, this is the rule book, this is the structure, this is what works and has worked all the time since history. That is not the case today. That is not our reality. That is not our lived reality. It might be for the baby boomers. It might be for our parents. But especially for us and the young, the new graduates, the young people, that may not be true for you. So I want you to go forward with the assumption, go forward with the understanding that we live in times that are very unpredictable. This week I was having a conversation with some people in the AI that it's now not even monthly, it's actually weekly. You are seeing a change. You are seeing a change in the different models. And maybe this AI has bought another one. So all the features that they didn't have, now they have it because they have bought the other one. And it is too competitive. And so, before you think you have learned and understood, another change has happened in the market. So, the key lessons we get from this background understanding is that with time, innovation is accelerating faster than society can adapt. Before you understand and adapt and normalize, a shift has happened. A shift has happened. From all the generations from the revolutions, we see that prosperity has increased. Wealth has increased. From when we were running factories with steam engines, to electricity, to digitization, to AI and smart factories, wealth has increased. But does it mean more people have become wealthy? No. What has also increased is the gap, what do you call it? The wealth gap between those who have and those who don't have has also increased. Because I think by last year, Elon Musk was approaching, was it 700 billion? So he's said to be the first person to be worth $1 trillion. Ever. It has never happened. But in the same time, more people in the world are much poorer than the world has ever been. So the wealth gap is also increasing. All systems break before safeguards are ready. And us now, we have to navigate and change even though we did not choose to. We cannot continue living in the past model with the kind of change that is happening. So today, if someone asks me, what business should I begin? What business should I start? Where should I invest? I'll ask you a simple question. Like in the third revolution, the third industrial revolution, when the computers came, that's the time around IBM, Walmart, Microsoft came. Why is it that no one else has created another Microsoft? Or let's go to the second industrial revolution, when we started doing manufacturing with electricity. We had companies like Procter & Gamble, Coca-Cola. Can someone today create another Coca-Cola and it becomes successful, global? It's just another Coca-Cola, something, soft cola, or why is it not possible? If we can answer that, then we'll have gotten the key here. Why is it not possible? Because if knowledge has increased, the people in the world today are sharper, brighter, smarter than the people who began or started Coca-Cola. Why can't we start another Coca-Cola also and become global? Yes.
Yeah, thank you for the question. Let me just try to answer it. Coca-Cola, Microsoft, and a few more other companies of that nature, like the major airlines, are called oligopoly markets. They do a lot of innovation. They have the capacity and they have the financial muscle to actually do research and development than many other companies that are starting up. They have also secured huge capital. They can even risk to try new things and they will not be at a loss. So those are, and then they have now capitalized on those markets, including having business secrets that are not readily available for other people. So like you find, if it is the concentrates, they are even not made here. They do them elsewhere, then they transport them to Kenya to be used in this, or whichever location that they have subsidiaries. So those are some of the reasons why.
Thank you. Very serious barriers to entry. Any other? Okay. Thank you for that. It's true, and also, okay, so thank you. So, and also, you discover that some of these globally successful companies were also born during their time, during their season. The technologies, the industrial revolution, innovations of their time made it possible for them to grow and to be sustainable and to achieve that level of oligopoly, such that should you even dare to begin your own, they have the muscle to even crush you totally. You remember Softer, we remember, they can actually fund your downfall. And so, when we talk about beginning or starting or venturing into business, you have to do what we call the SWOT analysis. What is your strength? Your strength is in what skill? Your strength is in what knowledge? Your strength is in what capacity? What is your weakness? If your weakness is in your financial muscle, you don't go to fight for a pie where there are others who have the financial muscle. What are the opportunities underlying? Now, these opportunities now is where I want us to look at it from the kind of the industrial revolution we are moving in. What are the opportunities that have been presented because of where we are technologically in advancements? There are opportunities that are alive today that were not existing 10 years back, that were not existing 20 years ago or 50 years ago. That is what we should be taking advantage of. The opportunities that have been brought forth by all the successive technological advancements so far. To give you an example, 2008 or 9, I was transitioning to third year in campus. How many of you know a company called Cellulant? Cellulant, NEA, Cellulant, okay. So, there is a company called Cellulant. This company, the founder is let's say a billionaire in Kenya shillings, has been one of the most successful, if not the most successful IT venture-funded company in this region. Around 2005, 6, 7, thereabout, to 2008, what they used to sell was ringback tones when we were in campus. That if you call someone, you hear a song. And usually it used to be the Christian, gospel, local dialect songs. Kikuyu songs, Luo songs, like that. So you'd call someone, and instead of hearing teet, you just hear esta kunadawa, such kind of songs. So that was their business. And around 2022, when Ken exited, it was already a billion shilling company. What do you think is the magic? From selling ringback tones to becoming like the most successful IT company in Africa. Again, it's about the opportunities of your time. When Ken started that business, it was to sell ringback tones and ringtones. But because, if you remember, early 2000 is when mobile came into Kenya, 99, 2000. Ken sell Safaricom. And so people started having mobile phones. Most mobile phones for that time were not like this. They were what? They were what? Just say it loudly. Yes. Kabambe. They were not smartphones. So there were no smartphones. So it was purely text and voice. With time, China, Korea happens, and we have cheaper and cheaper phones. Then cheaper and cheaper smartphones. Now the population adoption of smartphones started increasing. The gentleman who was just selling ringtones now can add value to the ecosystem. That's why I want us to understand about positioning, about our strengths, about our opportunities. You have to play business in a field where you are both strong and there are opportunities. You can see growth opportunities. So, more nini is coming. Kumbuka beginning of 2000, 2001, airtime was expensive. The least scratch card was a ring 250, around there. Then with Safaricom democratizing airtime, they bring Bamba 20. Bamba 20 means you can go to mass market. Almost the same model as Equity Bank. Because before 2000, Barclays Bank then, you had to maintain a minimum operating balance of 20,000 shillings. That is money you do not touch. It has to always be there. And before opening a bank account, you don't just walk in. You have to be recommended by someone who is in good standing with the bank because they have a good account. So, look at how James Mwangi democratizes banking. Safaricom does the same thing. So there is an opportunity for Cellulant. Instead of just selling ringback tones, what else can you sell? 2007 is when M-Pesa is launched. Ken Cellulant would never have gone to the billions if there was no M-Pesa. But once M-Pesa came in, Cellulant goes in, becomes a fintech. It becomes a payment partner. a payment platform. And they do a very good job or work in Kenya. Safaricom numbers are growing, but what is happening in the banking system? Is it going down or going up? The banks are growing, they are all over in the streets opening accounts. Now you don't even have to bring a photo, we'll just click a photo. You don't need opening balance, you just open. So the banks are growing, telco is growing, airtime is becoming cheaper. What is happening to Cellulant? The ecosystem, the value proposition is just broadening. So one thing leads to another. They even go beyond Kenya to Africa, to Nigeria, to supporting many more banks across Africa up to where they are. Look at what social media has also done. That a person today does not have to know you in person, does not have to like you at a personal level in order to buy from you. There is a language that those who were in business before 2008, before the Facebooks of this world, may not understand that existed before. But what has the power of social media done to the market that is now an opportunity for you that you can tap into? That is the power of opportunity and the power of leverage. And so when we look at business as a way of life or as an investment, I want us to understand that it is no longer, kitambo it was, you first get a job, then when you don't get a job, you don't succeed, you now just do business. The sharp people go to work, but those who don't make it do business. The kind of business environment we live and exist in today calls for the sharpest mind. That I'll tell you for a fact. Because you have seen how systems are changing, how technologies are changing, how consumer trends are shifting, how consumption trends are changing, and this requires a level of analytical nature for you to able to run successfully in your business. So that's what I'm calling business today. Business today is for us to understand how the economy has shifted. And I like the first speaker, that's Clinton, who shared about NEA. And from the questions that were coming from the floor, you could tell he has the answers, and some of those answers is because something has not been clarified well somewhere else. So, as our role today is to actually have the answers on our fingertips. Understand what shift is happening. Because today, when you are launching your business, the first partner on board is who? The first partner on board is, as you get your registration and CR12, your first partner on board is government of Kenya. Your first partner on board is Kenya Revenue Authority. The way Kenya Revenue Authority was running 30 years ago, not even 30, 10 years ago, is totally different from the KRA of today. There were so many loopholes to hide and to run. Today, the same technologies you are using are the same technologies KRA is using. If it is AI, they are using AI. If it is exception reporting, they are using this same exception reporting. So you realize that you can't just do business anyhow. You need to be properly structured. Who is in your team? Because of the advancements and the changes that have happened, remember how from the agrarian revolution, we kept reducing the number of staff workforce. There are a number of businesses today that turn over millions. Here in Kenya, registered in Dubai, but they have just a staff complement of 8 people or 7 people. Head of product, head of market, finance, operations, that's it. Why? Because of systems, because of technology. So before launching the business, before launching your business, it's good to understand what operating system are you going to rely on. And system is not just technology. System is who is going to do my accounting, because KRA is on my case at least twice a month, depending on the number of tax obligations you have, if you are paying payroll, if you are paying VAT. So this is a partner that you need on a monthly basis. Who is going to support me in visibility or marketing? You can see like we have here Lilian Ngala network. How are people going to know the good product or service that you have and you do not have the experience, the qualifications of a marketer? The good thing is, with the technology today, you don't have to learn, you don't have to know what to be done. You need to know what results you are looking for and get someone to guide you on that path. Where are you going to set up? Kitambo, you had to go to town, look for an agent, open a big office, put furniture inside, and now open your computer and wait for your first customer. Today, we have something which I want you to really take leverage and advantage on, called the shared economy. Shared economy is that I need to go and prospect a client. I don't need to drive. I can order a what? A vehicle, an Uber, a Bolt. I need an office with a good address. I don't need anything. I can just go to Regas, Coffeesy, all those shared office plans, and you just pay a small subscription just to have a desk. If it is necessary, you go there, there is internet, there is tea, there is water, you can host your guests there. That is the shared economy. What you have done is you have reduced cost of capital. We normally say capital is the greatest barrier. So with technology, with the economy shift, a lot of these are changing. What business can I do? What business can I do? Kitambo, you had to start from scratch. You had to get the idea, get the name, build from the ground up. If you remember, the baby boomers, the 1940, 50, 60 people, most of them are approaching what? Retirement. Some of them have been in business 30 years, 40 years, 20 years. They want to retire, and maybe their kids are in Canada. They have been taken by Nair to Australia or Dubai, and someone wants to sell this business. So entrepreneurship through business acquisition is also a possibility, is also a route. You are in formal employment. You want to get into business, but you want to get it in a managed risk format. You can acquire a business of someone who is going out, or who is relocating, or who is no longer interested, so long as the fundamentals are still good. So long as the business is still viable. Again, we have the concept of private credit. Private credit is those people who fund that are not banks. Private credit, they bet on ideas, they bet on small businesses and hope that you will grow and they get a bigger return. Angel investors, venture capital, private equity. Some of these things never existed long time ago, and especially here in Kenya. But now, they are not just here, they even have resident offices here in Kenya. And so the question becomes, where do I begin? Where do I begin? As I said, business is now more and more analytical. You just don't do a business because your neighbor is doing it, a friend is doing it, or you just want to do a business. There has to be a real problem. People are pained by it. People are willing to pay for it. And you need to know who your market is going to be. But most importantly, it is the person that you have to become for you to run that business. Having that bird's eye view. And especially for this time, is to realize that after 2020, the world became even more flat. Because with the working from home, with the gig economy taking precedence, there is now a market beyond just Kenya, beyond just Nairobi. You don't just have to serve Nairobi. Even when we are doing our research, it just doesn't have to be limited to our locality. You can see something that has worked for someone in Ghana or Korea or the UK and see how to do the same, a bit different, a bit unique to your circumstance. So the world has really opened up. And as we continue moving forward, is to understand that now, more than ever before, because of our interconnectivity, unlike kitambo when people were traveling through railroads, a letter had to take 3 weeks from USA to Kenya. Right now, you can chat at the instant. So, because of our interconnectivity, nowadays, what happens globally affects us equally. Is that true? Kitambo, if there was a problem in America, hiyo ni shida ya Americans. If there was a problem in Russia, hiyo ni shida ya Russians. When Russia invaded Ukraine, what happened? Si mliambiwa mafuta imepanda na unga ikapanda. Strait of Hormuz wakati ilifungwa, si mafuta ilianza kukosa. Within 2 weeks. Within 2 weeks. Meaning that now when you think about business, don't just think local. Don't just plan for local. Usifikirie shida yako tu ni Kanjo peke yake ama KRA peke yake. No. That could be actually the list of your challenges. Your main challenge could come from Iran. And how much control do you have? Even our president, how much control does he have over Iran? Nothing. So that has become the reality of business. Going forward, what is happening? Kumbuka, all these generations or revolutions are riding on what? Some form of technology. There is some form of technology yenye imetufanya now we can chat with someone in US instantly. What technology is going on now? What technology are people talking about next? Usikue nje sana. Understand, try to learn. You may not be an expert, but have an idea of what blockchain is. Just an idea. Just have an idea of what cryptocurrency is. I'm not saying it's going to be mainstream or formal, or it's not going to, but just have an idea. Because if trend, what has happened in the past is anything to go by, technology will keep changing, shifting, and affecting how we live, work, and do business. 2024, I attended an event. You guys know Laban Cliff Ontario. He's one of our members. He's in HR. He had an event and he invited the CEO of Bright Amande 2 years ago on the future of employment. What I got that day from the CEO of Bright Amande was that maybe employment, this was, I'm paraphrasing, I don't know, but maybe employment as we know it is about to completely change. We may never have the kind of employment our parents had going forward. Because I need this skill, I get someone to do, deliver, go. But this permanent, pensionable may not recur again. Because look at our population, has ballooned, has grown. Look at the technology, has grown so far and so fast. And the reliance on IT and tech and system has grown so fast. And so, what happens to the rest of us? We need to build, what our first speaker said, a personal brand. A personal brand that is sellable, transferable across different markets. Because now, the old routine structure has crumbled and broken. Build a personal brand, especially in business, that increases your brand equity in the market. That increases your brand equity in the market. So, to sort of bring it close home, is for us to understand where we live, the technologies that are taking place and affecting our daily lives, but most importantly, not to fear the technologies, but to see how we can harness and leverage on these technologies into our businesses. Because I believe the same way each technology or each revolution has brought better products, better systems, better ways of doing things, I believe this generation should actually bring us better business models, better businesses, as long as you can take advantage of your strengths and the opportunities of the times in which we are living in. So I'd like to leave it at that and open the floor for a round of questions, even as we prepare to go to the next session. Thank you.
We'll take a few questions so that we can go to the next program. And in the interest of time, we could ask one or two, then at the end of it all, we might have much more questions so that we can have the next presentation. Any question, please? Any question? Pastor.
No, thank you. I followed you keenly. and thank you for the presentation. You have talked about our SWOT analysis, and one of it is we are Africans, and in this case Kenyans. Now, we will be pragmatically happy to begin or start a business. But now in your capacity as a mentor, as you can observe, majority are young people. And most of them are looking for the so-called white-collar jobs. So what is that you can hit in their mind or faculty to change that narrative so that they become not employees, but maybe inventors or employers? That's one. Secondly, we are seeing the dynamics of the world are also changing drastically. As you have already mentioned, it's true. These impacts are with us. Now, if I have to begin a business, what are some of the mitigation measures that you can advise me who wants to start, so that nisiingie tu bila kuwa na kuelewa? What should I do, or what are the mitigation measures I should put in place? And then finally, you ask a pertinent question, and may you indulge me and kindly answer this question, which you are the one who asked. What should we invest in, or what kind of business should we start going forward? Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor Gore. Those are 3 questions. Then we'll take one more from Nelson Mandela. We have a Nelson Mandela in the house. Then we'll allow you to answer that. Then if there will be additional, I would request note them somewhere. At the end of the next program, we still have our presenter. We'll still answer more. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the presentation. My only question is one. The current trends, again, trends is what we eat and live every day. If you were to start a business right now, there's some skill set that are so technical that you cannot, fancy it in an influencing way. So influencers are paid properly for just influencing, and that becomes a business opportunity as it stands right now. So how would that now, say, into a tax consulting business, put a bit of influencing so that it can catch and have that traction for business growth and scale up? Thank you.
Thank you, Elder. Please come and address those 4 questions, and then we can proceed. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for your questions. Pastor Gore, the first question on SWOT. What I'd like to tell, especially the young generation, is that is it true if I say that the young generation have the greatest advantage over everybody? Is that true or false? Is it true or false? I'm just hearing everyone is saying it's true. Why? Because number one, they have edge on their side. They have energy on their side. Number three is if we could break down like your career into 3 parts. Let's say maybe you just finished college early at 20 years. 20 to 35 is 15 years. 35 to 50 is another 15 years. 50 to 65 is another 15 years. I would categorize 20 to 35 as a learning curve, apprenticeship. At 20 to 35, apprenticeship. 35 to 50, you have already gained a certain skill, a certain hobby, a certain business, which you are now growing through experience. And 50 to 65, you are now like going on your retirement path. At 20 to 35, what I would say is that because you have less risk, less dependence, or less, you almost thinking of just about yourself. This is the time to immerse yourself in the world of education. Not necessarily school, but what is it that you can do? The best answer to that is actually by doing something. By getting an internship somewhere. Not looking at what is it paying me today, vis-a-vis what my other youth friends are earning. But what is it exposing me to today? Because we had someone who started from selling ringtones to working with the big banks in Africa. So it's about strategic positioning. So strategic positioning is number one. And if possible, I know sometimes it may not be possible, but we say, especially at this early stage, if you can find a way of working with a smaller organization. You know, if you go to a very big organization, maybe you'll just be at the bottom, and it will take time for even management to notice you. But if you go to maybe a smaller company, a smaller startup, you will be maybe reporting directly to the founder. You will see how the founder thinks, reasons, acts. You'll most likely be in the same meetings with the founder when he's negotiating deals, or so you will actually be tapping the knowledge, experience, and skills at a very young age, which you can leverage going forward. When it comes to, again, beginning a business, most important thing is actually, because we come, unless you come from a family background where your parents run a business, most of us have come from, we are first generation to get into business. So you actually need a mentor. You need someone who you have access to, who can create that time to guide you, to show you their mistakes, as well as guide you through yours. Because what that does, it short circuits the system. What you would have taken 5 years, 6 years, you end up taking months. A connection that you would have taken 10 years to get, he gives you a through pass, so it's like you are cheating the system. When you are using mentors and advisors, people to support you. So you can imagine combining having a mentor out there and working under an apprentice. You are getting practical skills, and their mentorship, your mind is just being broadened. Because the reality of business is that business is not just running a business, it's a way of life. It is how you show up in meetings, it is which meetings you go to, it is which events you go to. It is, the first speaker talked about networking, if you recall. And he said how his first event, he really just served tea and because he felt he was too out of place. So it is a people, it's a people skill. It is not something you can learn from school. School can give you the technical aspect, the jargon, but the how-to, it has to be people. It is people who lift up people. And maybe many people may not say, but most people, if you read their biographies, there was a time where someone actually lifted them on their shoulders. And the first place to invest, I would say, is to invest in yourself. Invest in yourself, what I mean by that is so you need to attend events, even though they cost. Because events, we've said these skills are people given. Ni zinaambukizwa kupitia kwa watu. So you need to be where people are. People like you, people you admire. Most of the time, those events are not free. You need to go to the bookshop and buy books. What happens when someone writes a book, especially about themselves, biographies, business books, that is the highest level of clarity. Today, as I'm speaking, I'm just speaking. But if I write a book, I'll get an editor. We will check every sentence because I'm giving my very, very best because it will be judged. Okay? So, when you read a book about Sam Walton, how he started Walmart, which is the biggest supermarket chain in the world, he takes you through the process, how they first started the first Walmart, the second one, what they did. By going into their mind, it's like they are mentoring you. It's like they are opening themselves up to you for you to draw from them. So, reading good books, attending such kind of seminar networks and fora is very important. And now, relational capital. Increasingly building up on your relational capital. Nelson Mandela, the skills that I would put on top, because we cannot all dance on TikTok, and some of our professions may not augur well with that, is 3 key skills. Number 1 is sales. Number 2 is communication or PR. Number 3 is now personal branding. What I mean by sales is that, remember when you started a business or you're thinking of starting a business, you must have identified your locus of market. My market is 20 to 35 years living in Nairobi doing this, or it's women in 30 to 40, busy corporates, you know exactly where your market is. How do you sell to them? The truth is that, again, going back to investing in yourself, most of us are not naturally gifted in sales. There could be 1% who were just born good in sales. But when it comes to business, we say nothing happens until a sale happens. So you have to convert your knowledge, your experience, your personality, and package it in a way that it drives sales. Again, it's another cost. The same way, and I want you to look at this, the same way you will invest in going for an MBA is the same way I want you to invest in learning sales, in buying books, in buying audiobooks, in being in a masterclass. Because you have to become what you are not for you to get the results that you admire. That's sales. Communication. And we said in business, nothing happens unless a sale happens, and no sale will happen unless we have communication. Again, maybe there are people who are born good in communication. They don't need a lot of polishing, and this has really been democratized. I nowadays see you see this thing with algorithm. If you see there is a public speaking, someone who does public speaking, he's marketing their course, you just view it once. It will keep bringing you or bringing others. It is no harm to spare a few coins, learn, attend some of these events, especially where you can get a reference point, not just any. Someone who has gone and recommended it. that this one really helped me, or I know whom it worked for. And of course, now personal branding is almost being like an influencer, but at a personal level, projecting and protecting your brand. That when you say Nelson Mandela, we just know he's the guy of this, and he does this, and he's always saying this, he's found here, like that. Projecting and protecting, because your personal brand should be like your twin. It works for you even when you are not speaking. You don't have to verbalize all the time. But because we know you are there, you exist, and how did we know that? You communicated it. And it's a loop, and that communication leads us to the cell. So what happened when social media sort of killed the barriers and we stopped watching television, relying on newspapers for information, is that now we rely on technology and the social media for information. So if you have a very good product, a very good service, but you don't say it, there is nobody who is looking for that good service in digital classifieds at the Daily Nation or Standard. There is nobody who is looking for them during primetime news. Everyone almost consumes fast from online. Even the recruiters, they first go, how is your LinkedIn, how is your social media? I went to the US 2 years ago. One of the things they check, you have to submit all your social media handles. And if you fail to submit one, you can be flagged out. So your LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, everything. So personal brand is now almost a must for all of us. And it may not actually be only for business, even for other spheres of life as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Elder Marube, on that area of business and investment. I think we've learned something. We are going to adopt something we call clapping using factorials. We're going to give him 3 factorial, which goes this way. You look at me. And I said we might have more time with this interaction. Let's do more feeding with the information available to us today. So you look at me. It goes like this. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1. Can we practice? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Now we do it better. Thank you very much, Elder. I know we may not have enough time, but remember, next time when we are called, let's keep time. We end actually to change the program because of you, because we arrived a bit late. And that's why we also did breakfast, slightly a bit late also, so that the lunch can also be a bit late. Ni sawa hiyo? Some of us wamefurahishwa na hiyo story. There is something in the stomach already. And when we have already brought our guests here, and we are the ones who got late, I request that we allow them do their morning presentation as planned. Immediately they are done. We always have food. Studio. We are going to eat lunch. Jioni utakula tena. Asubuhi utakula. Yani, I don't know what happens in this stomach. We were saying the other day, we wish we were crocodiles. A crocodile can swallow something and sleep for 1 month. Lakini sisi, in a day, how many times are we eating? And that means we have to work harder, because this eating is not for free. Yeah, so all our speakers are here. We've got the network, Lillian Ngala. Something you said about brand. The brand moves even when you are not moving. So I'm just imagining when you of Lilian Ngala, you see network. I'm just imagining from what Odek told me, but we are going to hear. And Marube has approached that business in a very interesting angle, which I think many of us were not looking at it that way. So those who are thinking of starting business or hardware business, because you saw someone doing very well in hardware, think twice. You could still do the hardware, but you have to do it in a different way. That's what he is saying. And that is the message. We are not doing things the same way that we used to do. Mambo imebadilika. That is what we call innovation. It's happening so fast. We are not taking the 80 years and 40 years we are talking about. 1 year, 2 years. Smartphones are changing every other time. Sahi, we have reached where you can even tell your phone to do a few things. Uku umelala kwa kitanda tu, inaanza kufanyia before you wake up. Okay? So, Dr. Kamundi, just wave to us. Yeah, that will be our third speaker after lunch. So I'm going to call Elder Odek to do a better introduction for our next speaker, Lilian Ngala, and then she will be here to speak to us. Karibu Elder.
Thank you, Elder. Are we benefiting? Yes. Or we are tired?
No, we are okay.
Yes. You know, if you want to start a business, pastor, look for the problem. If you can solve that problem, you have a business. That is the only way to go. I want us to sing. You know how I love Jesus. Stand up, sit down, move backward, lean. In answer, nimesahau. Yes. Lean forward, lean backward, to the left, to the right. Stand up,
Sit down. Lean forward, lean backward.
Yes, I think you are there. Now, I'm happy to see the leg is smiling. Are you seeing me? Yes. Yes. It's an honor for our sister to come and speak to us. I had to use my connections to reach her. Because last time I was told, no, we are going for a networking, and I was told to go, and I didn't go. I was not in the country. So he told me, this year I have to go for the Lilian Ngala Networks. He does a lot of networking, and this year I promise you I'll go there if you're asking for network. Lilian Ngala, she's a brand. If you go online, if you just Google, you'll see her. She's a brand. She's doing a lot of charity work, empowering girl child a lot. In 2022, we thought it would be those who are coming from Homa Bay. You know where Homa Bay is? Is there someone who doesn't know where Homa Bay is? Endless potential. We thought, but God had other plans, but we are still hoping. So I know she's not a mgeni so much to some of us here. He has so many acts which she's going to come and say. I don't want to say. He's a director, HR, and board member, DTB Bank. She's also the founder and CEO of Lilian Ngala Networks, and many other activities she does. So as HR practitioner, I want her to stand, introduce herself, and talk to us. I know she knows so many people here. I can see this looking at me here. so I don't want to call their names. She's going to talk to us, share with us about networking, elaborate more on what our elder has talked about. And this one is more of, there is a child clinic, is there. So there are so many things. So my sister, kindly come, share with us the knowledge and the wisdom you have, and empower us.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Good afternoon once again. Let me see by a show of hands if you're happy to be here today. Thank you very much. Allow me to commend the AMM, that is Adventist Men's Ministry of this church, for putting up such an initiative for the youth. Because if you don't get it right with the youth, then the future is not there. And you keep saying that the future is where? Is here. So well done, AMM of this church, led by Elder Simeon and the rest that I may not be able to mention. Feel appreciated. Ladies and gentlemen, it's quite an honor to be here today. It's a privilege for me as an Adventist. I worship at Kerengata, and therefore standing here, it's quite an honor because it's more than just speaking. I'm in the house of the Lord. Praise God. Praise God again. So it's quite encouraging, very uplifting. And allow me to say that at the end of this session, we should be able to leave the room better than we came in. So I want us to talk about a very, very important skill that we need to honor, we need to own, we need to sharpen so that we can scale up. We can be very great at our technical skills, but without that one skill, then we will not be able to do much. And Elder Marube, or Pastor Marube, sorry, Elder Marube, has done a very good job, because towards the end, he was trying to talk about what I'm supposed to be talking about. So I think he saw my Mokenya, and he did a good job. He talked about the people skills and how we need to network, and mine is now just to dig deeper. Thank you, Elder Marube, for giving us that foundation. Allow me to say this. Turn to your neighbor and just ask them, who knows you? Who knows you? Only Duncan, Pastor Duncan. You need to know people, but those people also need to know you. And most of the time when you think of networking, you imagine the people that I know. But it doesn't stop from there. Do those people also know you? If you're to ask, who now? Which minister? Or which CEO do you want to give an example of? Debo of Safaricom? Does he know you? But we know him, isn't it? Just an example, we may not be able to mention all the names. Allow me to say that it's important for us to be known as well. And that is what networking is all about. That is what can scale us up. Because at the end of the day, it's about the meaningful connections that we make. And it's not about who you know, but who knows you. And I want to talk about networking as a pro. How do you network as a pro? Because networking is not just shaking hands, greeting people, exchanging cards. It goes beyond that. Today you've met me, and I'm sure at the end of this session, I will have all your numbers maybe, and you'll have mine. Then what next? The rubber meets the road. That is what I want us to discuss today. So that by the time... Thank you very much. Yeah, this is better. Thank you very much, Elder. So at the end of the day, how you do that networking, the skill that you've nurtured is what will give you the results that you're looking forward to. And the result is to what Elder Marube talked about in terms of you acquiring sales, you expanding your business, you getting opportunities, and so forth and so on. If you've ever entered a room where people are networking and you freeze, you have nothing to say in that room. Let me see by a show of hands. You've entered, it's a networking forum, it's a seminar, it's a workshop, but you can't say anything, you just freeze. Let me see. We are here to learn. Very good, thank you very much. 2, 3 people, I'm sure you're more than that, but yes, we will move. Another group, you are not just freezing, but you don't know what to say, and you walk out. You don't know what to say. What should I say? What should I say? What should I say? Let me see again. We are all here to learn. We are still the same group. Or you just find that it's difficult to have a conversation with a stranger. I am a stranger to you today, isn't it? But can you pull me aside and have a conversation? How will you start? You just find it difficult to start a conversation with a stranger? Let me see. Aha, yes, very good. Quite a number of you, and that is what we wanted to do today. So that by the time you're done, you are able to look to the eye of the stranger and say, hi, my name is so-and-so, what's your name? And then you can continue. Because that is how we can acquire or we can attain the outcome that we all desire. And nobody is born as a great networker. No one. We all nurture that particular skill. And it starts with the intentionality. How deliberate are you about it? Because yes, the stranger, I don't know whether they like my face, I don't know whether they love my voice, I don't know whether they'll feel like I'm ambushing them. That fear, we have to address that. Okay, so how do I start? Now that we are all saying that this particular skill is quite important, it is what will level us up to the next level or to the next stage of life. Be it a business person, be it you in your career. How do I start? And before I start, allow me to recognize, I've seen my colleague, Danfas. Danfas, you can just wave. That's my colleague. I've seen also a relative who just said, hi, I'm your relative. And that is also part of networking. Very good. You know, at times we even have relatives, but we don't know each other, isn't it? This is Nairobi, yeah? It happens. So that is part of networking. And he approached me, and very important. Thank you very much, my relative. I appreciate you. Let us be those kind of people who can say, yes, I am around, I am here. Do not shy away. And if I still have more relatives, more colleagues in the room, in the house that I've not seen, feel appreciated. Oh, there's one there. What's your name? Sorry? Emmanuel. He's Emmanuel or Austin? Austin. Pleasure, Austin. I'll see you after this. Very good. Why are you laughing at Austin? Tutamwona nyuma ya tent. So how do I start? Now that you're saying that is an important and essential, actually it's not just important, it's not just a soft skill, it is a commercial skill. It is a commercial skill as we speak. You need to have those connections. You need to build those relationships. And nobody will build them for you apart from yourself. No classroom will teach you how to do it. You must take that step. You must be deliberate and just say, which industry do I want to focus on? And why am I building those relationships? Okay, so how do I start? Like I said, networking as a commercial skill. Number one, most of us, you want to meet me today, you've met a certain CEO that you'll be looking forward to, you've met a certain director that you'll be looking forward to, a philanthropist like myself. I think it's very hard to blow my own trumpet, but he did some job there of just introducing me lightly. I do a lot of charity work with the widows, PWDs, people living with disability. Because at the end of the day, there's a reason why we exist on this planet. Besides just making money or living for ourselves. There's a reason why God gave us 2 hands. We have 2 hands, isn't it? One is for ourselves, the other one is for the other person. And it doesn't have to be a relative. It doesn't have to be a immediate neighbor. It is the other person. So back to the topic. You meet the person today. You exchange cards. And the next thing you're doing is, I'm looking for a job. My sister was fired from that other company. And you want a request. You want to make a request there and there. You've spoiled that relationship at that point. That is the end of it. Not even tomorrow. You are too aggressive, beyond aggressive. Because you are so transactional. You are not emotional. You are not connecting at an emotional level. So what should you do? Number one, I need to know you. You need to know me. Number one, networking goes in steps. Networking is in steps. So don't meet the person today and you want to close the deal today. Job, the deal could be a promotion, maybe it's your boss. You've just walked into the office. Do you know I've been here for 10 years and I've not been promoted for the past 10 years? The person has already blocked because you're too transactional. And I'll tell you how to now and do that as well. So that by the time you're walking to that office, they are prepared for you. And they are willing to have that conversation because you've already connected at an emotional, at another level, not just transactional. So first is you must be step one in networking. You've met the person at the seminar. You've been introduced to him by maybe a colleague of yours, a friend of yours. That is not the time to start or to ask, to make those requests that we do. Number one, know him. How do you get to know the person? How do you get to know the person? Introduce yourself. Introduce yourself. Get to be known. Get to know them. And then when you're knowing someone, I still am at the step one, please don't be so, don't sound interesting. You should be sounding interested. Did that make sense? You know, some of us, you want to talk 100 words, the other person has not even talked. You know, I was coming here, I got lost, I dropped like that. And then also my daughter, you know, I had to drop her. She's having a swimming gala today. Then, and it's the day when you're meeting the person. Are they there with you? They are not. They are switched off. And actually, I can't wait to let you go. But now, because the empathy in me and the compassionate side of mine, I will not allow you to know, but I've already blocked. Am I telling you too much? That is what people do. So you're talking to yourself. Because you're sounding so interesting. I want you to be interested in me. Are we together? So before you tell me about yourself, get to know about the other person. Are we together? So you're saying, what you can do is maybe, let me give you an example. I saw you the other time. You got awarded by President of the country of Kenya, maybe President Ruto, for the Shujaa, because I got an award. So we are bragging also in networking. It's allowed. That is how you get to be known. Are we together? So guys, ladies and gentlemen, so you got this award. Congratulations. It's about the person. Have I lost someone? Have I lost someone? You've not told me about yourself. You're telling me about that is how I'm getting to know you. This is someone who has my interest at heart. This is someone who's been following me. This is someone who is switched on. This is somebody who's genuine. This is a sincere person. I saw you posted very good results last month. Well done. You must be having a very good leadership in your bank. You're talking about who? Are we together? That person is sounding interested about me. Because they are genuine. Sincerity is coming. But now let's flip. So you meet the person, and my name is Lillian. I work for DTB, but I would want to come and sit on your board. This is day one. I'm an HR expert. If I come there, I'll do this, I'll do that. You've already lost the person. So get to know me. Knowing is number one. So once you've done the knowing, and the knowing, we've said it's you sounding interested, not sounding interesting. Most of us, we want to be interesting. We're about how much can I tell about myself? without even telling me about what you know about me. I've seen you are doing you've done 100 homes in Homa Bay County. Why can't you do Kisii? I think it would be very interesting for you to move to the other. You're doing a wonderful job. Are we together? It's about the person. Let's move to step number 2. I must like you. Step 2, liking. The liking will never happen on day 1. We are both checking out each other. What's your name, Elder? Today I've met Elder Duncan. But it's upon us now to move to the next level of the relationship by knowing, and then we like each other. How do you get to like someone? Let me see. By show of hands. How do you get to like each other? I've known you. I've known your name. You sound interested in me in terms of knowing the background that I've given you. How do you get to like the other person? Mm-hmm. Anyone wants to try? The mic can go around so that I don't lecture. Mic.
Offering compliments.
Uh-huh. Very good. Even that. As simple as that. Is that if the person even has an handle, a Twitter handle, LinkedIn, how about just saying congratulations? Remember, we are moving from transactional relationships to creating that connection. And that connection cannot develop if you're just waiting to tell me the way you've seen adverts for GMTs, there are 20 of them, can I be number 19? There's nothing. We are not liking each other. How we'll get to like each other is by developing that level of connection. And you can connect by simply saying, hey, I can see you. And those who are on LinkedIn, please, that is a very good platform. It does a lot of wonders. I can attest to that, because most of my events, or most of even the boards that I sit on, they're through that. People see you, your visibility, your personal branding, and a brand, even if you've not developed a brand, we have a brand for you out there. Are we together? There's one for you there, and you might not like it. So better do it yourself. Shape it yourself. Just say, Mondays, I want to be known for this. Saturdays, I want to be known for this. Those who are following me, Saturdays, you'll see what I'm doing. Let me see my followers, 2 or 3 people, 1. None. Don't know my SDA church. 2. Okay. Wow. We can do better. Let's go to those forums. Okay. So, the liking bit, develop that emotional connection by even knowing the simplest things. Even the fact that I posted that I was in church was a big deal. Wish me happy Sabbath. I will return you. I'll respond very fast because it's about interaction. But don't wait until you see the opportunity that you've been looking for and then you want to be considered. Trust. Number 3, trust. There has to be trust. That trust, by knowing you, liking you, now I have to trust you. Are we together? That CEO, that director, that president. And let me, hold on there. Let me give an example. And this one, it's about the power of showing up. And I want to connect it now to the network. There's a certain event that I attended. And I attended because I was representing my boss. She was not available to attend. And there, we had queens and kings. Are we together from Africa? So we had the Zulus, name them. The next thing I know is I'm supposed to be going to represent her. So as usual, you can say no. That place is so high level. And even if I was to do a speech, I think that is not my space. How do I talk in front of the queen of Eswatini? That one. Thank you very much. Eswatini. I don't know, king from where, allow me to pass this or maybe send another person. I said, why not? I will go. What do you want me to talk about? The points are there. I went and stood and spoke. I'm bringing the networking point, okay? So the lady, the queen of Eswatini was that, yeah. By the time I'm done, I'll have gotten it, don't worry. So by the time I was done with the speech, she walked towards where I was seated and she said, I liked your slogan because I used the bank slogan at the end. Bank on us, bank with us, bank on us. That is our slogan for the bank. And she said, because I also I'm also the MD of Eswatini Bank, I want to use the same. Do you mind? That was it. So we exchanged cards. She took the slogan, went ahead. Long story short, as we speak, we had a choice, or I had a choice of ending the conversation. I want to show you how networking works. I hope I'm not losing anyone. Are we hungry? Okay. I had a choice of just saying, that was nice. She's made me feel good that my slogan was so powerful. She liked my speech. And therefore, she even followed me to where I was seated. This is a whole queen walking towards where I was seated. That was it. I would have said that, but I didn't. So what did I do? She left me the number. I made the call the following day. And I will tell you also how to do it, so that you don't also appear like... Because when you want to connect with someone, that emotional connection is very important. At that time, you might not see it, but it comes in handy. So I started the conversation. Thank you very much for that, doing what you did in front of the crowd and ABCD. Long story short, she's now one of my best friends. She's coming to my event. She's the one coming for the next event in July herself. The queen is the one who is coming for the event as a chief guest. She's flying all the way from south to east. She will spend here back to her country. And the network also, we've become so close to an extent she started her own. And I've walked the journey with her to make sure that she sets the network. It's called Nozizwe Lelwa Network. Are we together? So the power of influence also comes through networking. So please, when I say come join us, come meet the queen and meet other people in the network. Up to there, I want to say that you have to be intentional. If I was not intentional with her, she would have taken my number and that would have been the end, isn't it? Because she got what she wanted. Buy. The last one is buy. So first, I must like you. I must know you. I must like you. Number 3, trust. Then I can transact with you. And what is a transaction? Could be a promotion. We don't know. Could be like what we're doing with her now. Could be anything, an opportunity in the south, an opportunity in the west. Are we together? Opportunity here in Dono, and so forth and so on. So please, this idea of having all the 4 steps at once in one sitting to a channel. Because what do? You want me to know you. I want you to like me. I want you to trust me. I want to buy. Same day, same hour. And you're busy maybe starting the tea, and you've already told me everything. Do you know everything that you said remains there? There's nothing that person is carrying. And you're wondering, how come I call them, they tell me they're busy, they're in Kampala in a board meeting. It's a lie. Those people are here. They are not anywhere. Are we together at the back? When you're networking and you're not getting the breakthrough, there's a problem how you're doing it. And you start wondering, how come she's always busy? And I still see her posting that she was with Elder so-and-so, Pastor so-and-so. But she told me she can't get some time for me the way we are doing it. Let's follow those steps. And then we'll be networking as a skill and not just any other random. So let's talk about the do's. And before we go to the do's, allow me to take you through why networking is important. Why is networking important? Let me see those who are awake. Why is it important? So before I show you what I have, why is it important? Anybody with a mic? Why is networking important? If you don't volunteer, I'll volunteer you. Yeah, very good.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
My name is George, and I think networking is important because as human beings, we are social animals.
Yes.
So as it is said that your network is your network.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Your network is your net worth. Somebody else? And we are social human beings, we need one another. Yes. Somebody else?
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Yes, networking exposes you to the resources you need to move from one level to another.
Hold there. This class is about becoming better. So you will stand, you will tell us your name because you are networking. How will I network with you in a t-shirt of gray? The gray t-shirts were like 7. So when I want to, come, let's go back again. Let's start again. Yes.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I'm Engineer Evans Migom of Miale Solar Inventions, Project Development Engineer. Now, concerning the networking, networking exposes us to the resources we need to move from one level to another or to find solutions to some of the challenges we may be facing at a particular point of time.
Very good. Thank you very much, engineer. And you can see, you never know who is in the room. Already I know there's an engineer, isn't it? So as you go out there, ladies and gentlemen, start conversations with owning who you are, talking about yourself, brag about yourself. There's nothing wrong. You are an engineer. In as much as in a t-shirt, I'm sure if I meet him tomorrow, it will be a different scenario. And you never know who's in the room, who is listening, who is also maybe wanting to have a conversation with an engineer. Thank you very much. Allow me to add on to what you've just talked about. Yes, somebody talked about it exposes you to new opportunities. Networking. You might not be aware of what is happening in another company. Maybe they're hiring. Maybe in the next 1 month, the CEO is not there. They're looking for a CEO. They're looking for people. It will expose you to those opportunities. Knowledge sharing, very, very important. Whatever you know is about your environment. But the moment you network, you are going outside your environment. Knowledge sharing, very, very important. Because you'll be getting other information that is pertinent. Professional development, very, very important. Because most of the time, let me see those who are members of professional bodies. If you're a member of any professional body, very good. And those who are not, please join those professional bodies. It's part of networking. Please do. And even go beyond your own professional body. You could even join the network of engineers. Why not? So that you're versatile. Because the world that you operate in right now, you cannot afford to be one shoes fits all out. Sorry, not that one. You cannot afford to be a straight jacket. You have to be somebody who is multifaceted. That's why when you talk of philanthropy, you'll find me there. You want to talk about business development, you will find me there. I go out to the business team, and Dan first knows. And it's not because my JD says so. No, I enjoy doing that. It's a value proposition to the organization. So what else can you do? How do you position yourself? That is also another point that I'll come to. Build impactful relationships. By networking, we build impactful relationships. Not just relationships, but impactful and meaningful. Impactful and meaningful. Very, very important. Because we've exchanged cards, but so what? That is not what you're looking for today. We are saying, can we go beyond the cards? Can we go beyond the handshakes? Business growth, somebody had talked about that. Support and guidance. Support and guidance, allow me to just say something about that. When you network, that is the only way you can identify your mentors. That is the only way you can identify your coaches. That is the only way you can identify your sponsors, your cheerleaders, your accountability partners. And allow me to wrap up on that support and guidance by saying, you need a personal advisory board. You need a team of personal advisory board. And there are 5 people. Can I mention them very, very fast? I already mentioned, but let me walk you through again. You need a team, you need a mentor, you need a coach, you need an accountability partner, you need a cheerleader, and you need a sponsor. You want to know the role that they play? Or we come back next time for the public advisory board. Those are the people who will push you to the next level. Having your skills, honing them, very, very important. Knowing your technical background, going back to classes, all that, very important. But you need those people for you to scale up. You need a sponsor who can say, yes, I think Lillian in that department can do that job. Try her. A sponsor is somebody who mentions your name in a closed door without even you being there. And how do you identify a sponsor? Must be somebody influential in that organization. Must be somebody who has your interest at heart. Must be somebody who knows your aspirations and your interest. He knows that you want maybe to become a chief manager, or whatever it is. That's a sponsor. Walk with him the journey. And don't assume that everybody will sponsor you. Not everybody that smiles at you will sponsor you. There has to be that mutual agreement. And also that mutual conversation cannot happen if you're not developing value to that person as well. Because it can't be you only want to get, but there's nothing you're bringing to the table. Do I sound unfair? That's the reality. Maybe that particular sponsor of yours is struggling with PowerPoint and you're good at it. Why can't you just say, I think I have this skill. Do you mind if I show you how to do it? Do you mind if I do them for you? And then you can try it out. You've already sorted out a problem for that person. I wouldn't mind being your sponsor at that point. Are we together? Be somebody who is also creating value. Be valuable. Have some value proposition. Go beyond your 8 to 5 only. You cannot just be a taker and expect to excel. You have to give and take. And then your mentor is somebody who's been in that space. They'll walk the journey with you. And then your coach is somebody who is having you have an assignment with them. You are working towards that assignment or that task. Can you see the difference? And then a cheerleader is somebody who is saying, hey, I can see you, you are doing a good job, keep doing it. They cheer you up. At times we just need somebody to pat us at the back and say, well done, that was good. Because I don't know if I'm doing good or not. I feel like everybody's just busy on their own. Am I doing the right thing? And out of not knowing, I might take a step back. Yet, if I had a cheerleader who is really interested in me, they'll give me that fire or that motivation to keep going. And then the last one, accountability partner. The one who tells me, that is not the route. The route you're taking is not the correct one. Slow down. Or maybe add on to this. Have you started your classes? You said you're going back to class. Have you started? Or of late, you seem to be so all over. Maybe you need to narrow down to what you're doing. Are we together? Those are 5 people and our personal advisory board, the ones who will fall under your support system, the people who can guide you so that you scale up. Remember, one more time, you cannot have these people if you're not networking. How will they get to know about you? I have to network so that I get a sponsor. And a real sponsor, not the Kenyan sponsor. Are we together, church? And how will I get a cheerleader if I've not networked? I have to tell them, I think I admire this in you. And I wouldn't mind you just being my sounding board, you being my cheerleader, you being my sponsor, you being my mentor, you being my coach. But that has to happen once I have also decided that I want to network. So networking is a skill, and it leads us to all that. So the do's of networking, that takes us to the do's. Be bold, be fearless. You've met the person for the first time, but at the end of the day, remember we have an intentionality around this. We want to network because I want to maybe move jobs, I want to change. Maybe I want to sit on boards. Maybe I want to, whatever it is, I want to change my career. So then I need to network with engineers. I've gotten one there. So that he can walk the journey with me. You need to be bold so that you're able to approach the person. And that boldness won't happen until you make a step. If you're waiting to feel bold, if you're waiting to feel confident for you to make the move, it will never happen. Remember, confidence is a byproduct of courage. So be courageous, confidence will follow. Because confidence comes by you doing it repeatedly. But most of us, we want to feel confidence, and then I have the courage to go. It won't be the other way around. It will never happen. You first dive into the deep end, and then you find if the water is comfortable enough, continue. But the world is so receptive, by the way. The world is so receptive. Most of the time, these people are just waiting for you to speak up. Be authentic. Very, very important. People can tell when you're not sincere. Even your eyeballs, even your forehead, even your gestures. Be authentic. Just be yourself. And this is very important in personal branding. Very, very important. People can tell if you're transactional or for sure you mean business and you want us to have that connection. Be authentic. Don't be fake. And just be yourself. Don't be like the other person, because most of the time you want to behave like Mary, you want to behave like Pastor Duncan, Elder Duncan. Don't struggle. Just be yourself, and people will appreciate you when you're just who you are. Because again, God created us in his own image. So why would I struggle so much to be like Elder Simeon? No. Maybe soft-spoken, I admire that. That is nice. Maybe I shout, let it be. Are we together? People like when you're authentic. Listen actively. Active listening, very, very important. And when do you know when somebody is listening actively? How do you get to know if they're listening actively? Let me see. You're networking, and I can tell this person is actively listening to what she's doing or what she's telling me, the conversation that you're having. Dan.
Someone who is listening at, okay, you said we say names. I'm Elder Duncan Murithi, and I'm the AMO leader. I'm the chair for AMO this year. So for you to know whether somebody is listening actively, one, there is an eye connection, you're attentive, and you can ask a relevant question out of what the other person was saying. That confirms you are listening. Don't hold your phone. Don't look any other direction. You just connect directly. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Elder. The eye contact is very important. Your phones. Most of the time you're talking to someone, but they're busy. Can I just pick this? Just give me a second to pick this. Have you seen that? So you wonder, you should have finished with the phone, and then you can have a quiet conversation, impactful conversation. I agree with him. Those phones are the biggest forms of distractions. And if there's a way we can do away with those phones when you're having conversations with people, especially during networking, please let us do so. Just put them completely out of sight. You don't even need to put them upside down. Some of us even put them upside down. But you see, when they're still upside down, you are not giving me 100% because they're here. Please don't look at my phones. This is just an example. And on a lighter note, if you're to have the conversation with the person, they should not be there. Because you seem distracted, you're also distracting that person. Network with a purpose. Network with a purpose. Very, very important. Why are you networking? Why are you here today? Why did you come? Today is a Sunday. You should have been at home with your families. But you chose to be here. There's a reason why you are networking. Identify your why. That your why will propel you. It will push you to become authentic. It will push you to be bold. It will push you to continue networking because you know what you're looking for. Because also what you're looking for is also looking for. And as a Christian, I believe in that so much. And I'm a testament to that. Anytime I'm looking for something, we kind of just align smoothly. We don't struggle. Try, have you ever seen, for those of us maybe who've owned cars, a situation whereby you want to change a car? Are we there? Am I speaking to myself? Some of us are working, isn't it? Yes. And the moment you start looking for that one particular car in your mind, they are all now flooding the road. True or false? If it's a white, I don't know, whatever white make, red make, whatever it is now that car that you're seeing throughout. That's true. And that happens in every aspect of life. That job that you're looking for is also looking for you. It's just a matter of time. You'll get that alignment. And the alignment happens because you are working towards it. And now your mind is activated. And that's why when they call for such forums, you're like, we are going. You're telling your mind, we are not debating. We are waking up, we are showering, we are hitting the road, we are going to Donholm, SDA Church. Because your mind is already activated in that form, yes. And even when there's a seminar somewhere, you want to attend because you want to invest in yourself and also in that mode. That opportunity is also seeking you, for sure. And this is not just hogwash, it's a reality. And that's why we're even told, when you think negatively, you attract the negative thoughts. You attract them and those negativity actually comes to you. Have you ever felt like you're sick at times? And the moment you think like you're so sick, you become sick. That's the reality. But when you say, I'm not going to see a doctor because I'm not unwell, I just need to dehydrate. And then I take my 3 glasses of water seriously because that is what I need. We are not going to see any doctor, and then you're just okay. Everything is here. So you attract what you think. And I'm not saying you don't go to the upstore, but most of the time, those things that make us rush there. Okay. The mind is a very powerful tool. Very powerful tool. Any person you want to meet today, you can meet them. Alignment will happen. You can meet them. And you can even say, I'll meet them in a month's time, in a week's time, in a year's time. And imagine it happens. At times the person that I really want, they're in my head. Before I can even think the way Elder was saying that he was connected through a friend, before I can even think of that, do you know what happens? The person is the one reaching out. They also need me for something else. This has happened as recent, I think, as last week. And then you say, God, that was so soon. How did you do it? Because now, they are the ones who are looking for me. And then I have an opportunity to say, as we finish this, and the conversation becomes so easy, because after all, they are the ones who are now looking for my services or looking for me. Ladies and gentlemen, let's activate the positivity and those kind of thoughts. Because yes, the moment you do that, you will start the roadmap. Actually, it's not like it's a miracle. It's just because now there's a roadmap. And that person also, the vibration. Have you heard of vibration and the frequencies? We need another class for that. Be prepared. Are you prepared for networking? When you attend those seminars, do you go there prepared? And how do you prepare? How do you prepare? Do you even have an elevator pitch? In one sentence, who are you? Who are you? Besides being the HR director, who are you? Because I don't just want to know you like that. Everybody can be that, isn't it? And there's so many. What will stick in that other person's mind is what the elevator pitch now will do. He's an engineer, but he can go beyond that. I design maybe homes, I design roads that are, is it out of this world or something? I help organizations to humanize workplaces. Did that sound boring? You'll want to know, how do I humanize workplaces? How do you do that? You see, now the conversation has started. But if I say I'm a HR director, fire and hiring, sawa. But if I say I help organizations to humanize workplaces, wow, how do you humanize? How do you do it? It's already interesting. The person wants to know me. Remember, elevator pitch is to try as much as possible for me to be remembered. is to try as much as possible to become different, for me to be different. Because everybody's doing what you're doing at some point. We are at diversify. Okay, the next one, diversify. When you're networking, you cannot network in only one sector. Only the church, the Donholm church, only we are waiting for pastor and elders to organize so that you can come here. The next one, you don't even know when Elder Simeon and Elder Duncan will put together. Diversify. When you diversify, you are actually spreading your wings even further, and your opportunities are also growing in terms of possibilities of you netting what you're looking for. Practice your, okay, this one I think I've talked about it. Practice your elevator pitch. And I want to challenge you today as you're seated here. Please just write for me what is your elevator. Just one sentence. Just describe yourself. Besides your title, besides you being a job seeker, what are you doing currently? Nothing. Please don't respond like that. There's something you're doing, even in that nothing. You're not doing nothing. We say that sometimes, and it's very unfortunate. What are you doing currently? Who are you? Please just write for me, because I'm going to ask 3-4 people to read for us. So be careful, because you never know if I'm going to point you out and you read for us. So please do an elevator pitch. I've given you an idea. Something interesting. You could be a job seeker, yes, but there's something else that you're doing with yourself. Offer help. Last one, the do's of networking. Remember we talked about creating value? You want to be valuable, you want to create value proposition, you don't just want to be seen as somebody who is taking, you're supposed to be more than that. I can see somebody is really tickled. They're not sure that to write nothing or write something. The last one on do's, I think we've talked about. Yeah, offer the value proposition. You must be known for something as well. Don't just be a taker. Be also a giver, somebody who's adding value to that sponsor, to the person that you're networking with. Could be a mentor, whatever it is, or what angle you've taken with that person. Lastly, on that, don'ts. Now we are moving to the don'ts. Sorry, let's move to the don'ts. The don'ts, we are done with the do's. The conversation should never be about you. Remember when I started? I talked about you starting the conversation, and we'll do, I think I need 2 people here. Not at this point, allow me to, maybe later a bit. The conversation should never be about you. It should be about the other person. Do your research. Get to know the person that you're coming to network with. In this particular network, where you are today, this church that you're here, who are you coming to meet? Did you have somebody in mind? If not, then by the time you're done, you should be having somebody in mind. But if I were you, I would have researched before coming. Make sense? I would have researched before coming. And then I would say, out of these 4 speakers or 5, I want to narrow down to 2, or I want to network with all of them. And therefore, I'll do research about them all. So that when I sit with the elder so-and-so, there's something that I know about him. And I'll sound interested about him. Make sense? Conversation should never be about you. But most of the time, because you've not done your research and you want me to see that you know something, it's now you just talking about you. Then you've lost the plot at that point. Some of us might stop you and say, I'm in a hurry, I have another meeting. Some of us will entertain you because we can't say that, but you've already switched off. Yet, it would have been an opportunity for you to strike that nail when it's still hot, and you leave a mark, and I'll go saying, wow, that engineer, if in case of anything, you'll be ringing that bell in my head. Not being conversant with the topic. Some of us were here, but I don't think all of us knew why we were here. A friend told you, there's something going on, can we go? You should have asked the friend. I'm assuming just for learning purposes. I'm not saying here anybody is like that, but for learning purposes. So you would have asked the friend, who type of people will be there, with the subject, up to those kind of things. It makes you become relatable because you understand what is going on. The people who are there, the topic that is going to be discussed, you are also contributing. Don't just come and warm the benches. Or when you've gone to the seminar and you can't even speak, raise your hand. Just say something, because that is how you become remarkable and people cannot forget about you. Because you've done your research. But most of us, we can't even lift our hands because we didn't do any research. Okay. Next one, time conscious. You must be time conscious. In networking, you can't afford to be late. You're meeting your mentor, you're meeting your cheerleaders, you're meeting the person that you want to connect with, but you're 10 minutes late. You want to give me the excuse, the traffic. Please don't use those excuses, because you could have done better. Respect, because when you do that, actually you're showing the person that you don't respect them at all. It also shows how lousy you are. And imagine if there's an opportunity. That person will say, that guy, he came in very late. And maybe you were so suitable for that role, but you've already left a very tainted image about yourself when it comes to time management. So you want to network with someone, but it didn't work out well. The relationship didn't turn out well because, again, you can't force networking. Do you know that? The person could be very, very busy for sure. So you've done your bit, you've known them, you've liked them, but the trust is not happening. You know, the trust can be very difficult. So because you've not hacked it, don't burn your bridges. That is the next point that I'm bringing home. Don't burn your bridges. It's a small world. This person that maybe you're not networking, you've not agreed upon in terms of the relationship or making that connection with, could be a very close friend to the other person that you're also trying to network with. So if you burn your bridges, you never know. It's a small world. They might now start discussing you, and you don't want that. You go to a meeting room, you go to an interview room, and already they're saying, this person, this is how they are. So also make sure you don't burn your bridges, keep your reputation, safeguard your character, safeguard your reputation as much as you can. Guard it religiously, guard it with all you can, because that is what also networking is all about. What are you known for? Don't interrupt. Okay, I need an example here. I need 2 people to showcase this. 2, 3. Let me see, 2. Okay, come, 3 people. Yeah, thank you very much. The power of showing up. Just show up. Come, come, come. 3 people, very, very fast. The last person, I can see 2. Elder, kuna lunch kweli? Ah, very good. Sasa, can we come with some energy? Good. Let's the last person. Thank you, young man. The last person. I'm going to be the 3rd person. A lady, yes. Thank you very much for that gender sensitivity. Please clap for Elder. Very good. So the 3 of us. So don't interrupt. Besides you talking, you know, we only think that interruption is about you talking, isn't it? But even your body language shows that you're interrupting. So that is what I want to show you. So you're networking right now. You're in a networking forum. And these 3 people, so you'll be the last, just stay up, step aside. The 2 of you, can you have a conversation, face each other? Face each other? Yes. So networking is very difficult. Okay. So the 2 of them, this is the 3rd person. So these 2 are already having a conversation. Remember, maybe they are from a tea point. They're from maybe having their waters. Maybe it's a break time. It's a seminar like today during lunch hour. He's from a different organization. Maybe he's an employer. Different organization, maybe. We never know, isn't it? So we're assuming they know what they're talking about. So you guys, can we just have conversations? Whatever I've told you, then I want you guys to see the interruption and how it's supposed to happen. Remember, she's the one now we want to learn from, how to do it right. You have nothing to tell each other? Wow. Hold. Remember, you are talking to someone who does not even want to see Liverpool. Some people are that sensitive, by the way. So